How much of the world's wealth do you think is hidden offshore? Take a guess. Billions of dollars? How about hundreds of billions of dollars? The number is beyond most people's imagination. Economists estimate that number to be closer to at least 10% of the global GDP. As of 2021, the global GDP is about $93 trillion, which means around $9.3 trillion is hidden offshore. That is almost 50% of the entire GDP of the United States, the wealthiest country in history. But the main question is, why would they hide their money? I mean, don't they want to enjoy some of that wealth? Don't they want to fly private, drive the most luxurious car, or buy the most expensive mansions? Or at least brag about how much money they have? Yes, but no one wants to pay taxes. Yes, of course, you get some benefits from the government such as roads, bridges, schools, but so does everyone else. The only reason you're making so much money is because of your hard work and talent, so why should you share that money with everyone else? When you barely make enough money to survive, you pay almost no taxes. Your first $10,000 is taxed at just 10%, but any money you make above $500,000 is taxed at 37%. On top of that, if you consider state taxes, you can easily end up paying as much as half of your income in taxes. So why work hard to make money when at least 50% of it goes to the state? Shouldn't there be a way to avoid these taxes? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to work harder. Since the beginning of time, rich people have made sure to find loopholes within the tax code. And when they did not find one, they created one. And in this video, we are going to take a look at 5 of them. Yes, you're about to discover how the elites of the society pay almost nothing in taxes while making hundreds of billions of dollars. If you're ready, give this video a thumbs up and let's dive in. Number 1. Tax havens. Let's say you start a company and everything is just perfect. Just in your first year, you have made an incredible profit of $100 million. Congrats! Before you celebrate your success, IRS is going to knock on your door and take $21 million out of it because the corporate tax in the United States is 21%, which soon might be 28%. That's a lot of money. Why would you pay so much to the government when you made that money with your blood and sweat? And we did not even include state taxes. Even if you decide to go abroad and sell your product elsewhere where the tax rate is lower, Uncle Sam will still come after you for its share of your profit on top of the taxes you will be paying in that country. Whether that's fair or not, it depends on whom you're asking. You can write down what do you think in the comments below. However, things are not as bad as they seem. There is a way for you to avoid all those taxes legally. Instead of declaring $100 million in profit, be smart about it. How about lower your profit to just $30 million, and now suddenly you only have to pay only $6.3 million instead of the $21 million. Get on a plane and travel to the little island of Bermuda and set up a new company there. It is easy, fast, and cheap because you won't have anything except an address to a small office in the middle of nowhere. Then simply give all of your patents, trademarks, and intellectual property of any kind from your real company that is in the United States to your new company in Bermuda. So when Uncle Sam comes to collect $21 million out of your $100 million, you can say, "Sorry, we have licensed this technology from this company in Bermuda. We have to pay them $70 million. So we're just left with $30 million. Now you only have to pay $6.3 million in taxes. Your $70 million in Bermuda are not taxed because the corporate tax rate in Bermuda is 0%. Congrats, you have saved $14.7 million. But how about the profits you earned in Europe? It will be taxed, right? You set up a new company in Ireland that is going to make another $100 million. Instead of paying 12.5% corporate tax in Ireland and the remaining 8.5% to the United States because Uncle Sam will come after you no matter where you are, you transfer that $100 million to a new company you set up in Netherlands at 0% taxes through a little tax law. Your Dutch company immediately sends it back to your first Irish company that is simply a subsidiary of your Bermuda company. So the money ends up back at Bermuda, where the tax rate is 0%. Congrats, you have saved millions of dollars. That's how Apple, Google, and many other giant corporations avoid taxes. It might not make a huge difference when you're earning millions of dollars, but when you're earning billions of dollars, saving even $1 billion would make a huge difference. When politicians increase or decrease the corporate tax, it doesn't really make any big difference, because why pay even a 10% tax rate in the United States when you can pay 0% in taxes in Bermuda? Number 2. Expanding market share. Having billions of dollars offshore is great, but what is the point if you can't use it? If you bring it back to the US, you still have to pay taxes on it, which makes all that scheme useless. That's why corporations started taking a different approach. The largest US companies such as Boeing, Netflix, Amazon, GM either paid 0 taxes or a tiny percentage. From 2008 to 2017, Boeing paid only 8.4% on $54.7 billion of profit. In 2018, Netflix reported $845 million in profit but paid absolutely no taxes at all. The company can make a big investment and dramatically expand and gain market share. In fact, they might have to borrow money and at the end of the year report a loss. And when you're reporting a loss, you're not only not paying any taxes for that year, but you can forward it to the future years. So if you're going to make a significant profit next year because last year you gained such a huge market share, you still can deduct your last year's loss and significantly reduce your tax bill, if not avoid it at all. And it's a common practice among the companies. So the company might not be making any profit. In fact, some companies keep on reporting losses year after year. Uber has a market cap of over $50 billion and it is making revenue of a few $billions. But the company has not reported even a penny of profit. In other words, it hasn't paid a single dime in taxes yet. Even if Uber's valuation crosses $100 billion, it still doesn't have to pay any taxes unless it reports a profit. Number 3. Stocks. In 2020, Jeff Bezos made $75 billion and paid 0 taxes on that because his wealth isn't liquid and consists entirely of Amazon shares, and he only has to pay taxes if he liquidates his shares. But as long as he doesn't have to pay any taxes. But what's the point of all of that wealth if you can't use it? This wealth is just on paper. Well, that's one way to think about it. But from the opposite point of view, what would you do with $75 billion in cash? As long as your company keeps growing, your wealth keeps growing as well. And if you want to drive a Ferrari, fly private, or travel across the world and stay in the most expensive hotels, just use the company's money and then deduct it as a business expense and lower your tax bill even further. Number 4. Art. Art is great, but rich people have turned it into a method to avoid taxes. You probably have seen paintings sold for hundreds of millions of dollars. Take this painting. It's an amazing painting, but let's be honest, it doesn't worth $450 million. So here's the real reason why art is so expensive. Let's say you are a multi-millionaire. You buy a piece of an art from the primary market for $1 million and hang it on the wall of your office. After 5 years, you make $22 million. You will have to pay a lot of taxes on that. However, here's how you can avoid that. Remember the piece of art you have purchased for $1 million? Surprisingly, now it's worth $7 million. Its value has increased over the last 5 years, according to your experts. Since you're such a generous guy, you donate that piece of art to your favorite museum and you deduct $7 million as a charitable deductions from your $22 million income. Now, you have to pay taxes on only $15 million. Congrats, you have saved millions of dollars in taxes. The media spreads the news about what a generous person you are since you have donated a piece of art that cost $7 million. The museum puts your name right beside the painting. That's how the elite of the society use art to avoid taxes and boost their image. Number 5. Section 1031 exchange. This is rich people's favorite tool to avoid taxes. It's even difficult to believe that such a loophole exists. Let's say you want to sell your house and buy a bigger house. In the last 10 years, the value of your property has risen dramatically, so you're going to sell it at a huge profit. Ideally, you should be paying a capital gain tax on it, but if you use that money to buy another property within the next 45 days, you don't have to pay a dime in taxes. It is not unique to real estate, but it applies to other assets such as stocks as well. But it's a little complicated with stocks. That's why you have to hire lawyers and accountants to make sure you're allowed to do that. If you dig deeper into the tax code, you will find out that there are multiple ways to avoid taxes. Most of the taxes are paid by high-income earners like doctors, lawyers, engineers, and so on, but the real rich people pay the lowest percentage possible. Anyways, it's time to go on and get your 2 free stocks from Webull if you use the link in the description, or check out my special course on Skillshare that will teach you how to invest in the stock market like these rich people do. And most importantly, give this video a thumbs up if you want to help us, and subscribe if you're new around here. Thanks for watching, and until next time.